Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wildcat Game Day Preview. I'm your host, Ryan Choe, and here with me today is analyst Lawrence Price. Lawrence, thank you so much for joining me today, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thank you for having me this week. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Yes, and I'm so happy to have you. And as our audience knows, the Northwestern Wildcat football team is coming off an unexpected bye week due to the Minnesota program having some COVID-19 issues within their team. But then the week before saw the Wildcats fall unexpectedly to the Michigan State Spartans. And Lawrence, I was wondering, what do you think were some of the key reasons why the Cats fell to Michigan State?
Yeah, Ryan, I would really have to say it was really disappointing for the Cats. I mean, of course, they had the unexpected bye week to Minnesota, but also an unexpected loss to Michigan State. I mean, going into that game, they were undefeated. Their name was in the running for the college football playoffs contention. Of course, they're going to the Big Ten championship game. We know that against Ohio State, but it would have been great to see them take it a step further and go to the college football playoffs or get a chance if they did beat Ohio State. But, going back to your question with the key reasons, I feel like there were a few of them, one of them being the turnovers. I mean, Northwestern had 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, 4 in total. I mean, their biggest total in a single game this entire season. 2 Michigan State's 1 turnover. And it's no matter who you are, what team, it's very hard to win a game. You really have to be perfect if you have those many turnovers to another team's turnovers. And I mean, you got to give Michigan State credit. I mean, they basically or arguably had their best game of the season. They made Northwestern give up 12 points in the second half, something we are it was very unexpected by Northwestern. I mean, they're known for their defense. They've only given up 22 points total in the second half all season, 12 of them being to Michigan State. So you got to give Michigan State credit there. But also, I would have to say Northwestern's running game. I mean, we know they don't have an electrifying offense, but when you have only 63 rushing yards to Michigan State's 195, them being dominant on the run game while Northwestern is very quiet, you need the run game to get going. You need something to get them going. And, it was very, it wasn't there that game, and you really needed it. And I would also say one more thing is the third down efficiency. I mean, Northwestern was 5 for 18 on third down to Michigan State's 10 for 21. I mean, they were almost 50% completing on third down. And, you need stops. I mean, you're going to need stops. And I mean, we saw that they couldn't get stops, and maybe that went out to their 17-point lead. Michigan State did in the second quarter. And we saw Northwestern, they were in the same spot against Iowa. I mean, they were down 17-0 in the first quarter as well, but they were able to come back maybe because, they had 143 rushing yards, while in this game they had about 80 less. It's going to be hard to win that way. So I think those were a few key reasons that Northwestern struggled this game. And, the defense is great, but, it's not going to be always on. And, you're going to need the offense to turn it around for you, but the offense couldn't get it going, especially for rushing.
Mm-hmm. And a great point you made there about the turnover battle. But now heading into this emotional rivalry week, we got Illinois coming up. And, the Wildcats have won the last 5 meetings. And so, Lawrence, what do you think are some crucial aspects that Northwestern must succeed in if they have any hopes of couching a 6th straight victory over their rivals?
Yeah, Ryan, I agree. I mean, I think this is going to be an emotional game for Northwestern and Illinois. I mean, both from the same state, but I really view this as a warm-up game for the Cats. I mean, the Big Ten championship. I mean, regardless of who wins this game, Northwestern is going to be in the Big Ten championship. And they had that bye last week. So they're really coming into this game really fresh. You want to get back on track. So I view this as a get back or get right game for them. I mean, I think the defense is going to be there. It's been there all season. I mean, they had a slip up last game, but I do think it's going to really be on the rushing. I mean, I'm going to look to the rushing to see if they can get it going, because if they have the same type of rushing efficiency that we saw against Michigan State, that's really not going to slide, I think, against Illinois, especially Ohio State next week. That's definitely not going to slide. I mean, Northwestern, they ranked 10th in the Big Ten on rushing. So you really want to see if they can take it to another level or be effective in the rushing game. So, I mean, again, I think the defense is going to be pretty good. They're going to get back to the ways that they were And I think that it's really going to be on the offense to get it going.
Great point there, Lawrence. And if we look at the Northwestern side now, who do you think are going to be some key players for this game for the Wildcats?
Well, Ryan, I'm going to express my confidence in the defense. So I don't think it's going to be a key player that needs to be picked on the defense. I think they're going to bring the energy, but I'm going to look back at the offense, especially I'm going to hone back in on the Northwestern rushing offense. I mean, I would say Isaiah Bowser, Drake Anderson, Kyrick McGowan, and even Cam Porter. We're going to look to them. I think Peyton Ramsey, he's going to do his thing, especially in comparison to Northwestern's quarterback situation last year or the years previously. So I think it's going to be on the 4 running backs or whoever's running the ball. They got to get it going. I mean, we want to see what they can do in this game, and especially what we're going to look toward to in the future, especially against Ohio State. Like I said it before, if they have a very weak rushing attack, it's not going to slide against Illinois, I don't think, especially against Ohio State. So I'm going to look at those faces, which running back or running backs are going to get it going. And I think those are going to be the key players to look out for in Saturday's matchup.
Great. Well, thank you, Lawrence, so much for joining me today. We'll see if Northwestern can bounce back from their first loss of the season and try and win a very, very emotional rivalry game this Saturday. The game starts at 11 a.m. Central Time and will be televised on ESPN2. For analyst Lawrence Price, I'm your host, Ryan Choe, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Go Cats.